If you've been watching the channel or keeping up with Star Wars gaming news, then you'll know there are several Star Wars games in the works at different studios around the world. Stuff that's happening behind the scenes we don't know about yet, and you'll know that one of the most anticipated Star Wars games is Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game, which is likely only in its very early stages of development. This game will attempt to do something very few other Star Wars games have done: build an open world Star Wars game, possibly one of the most difficult things to do in all of Star Wars, and yet the most requested. And there's only been a handful of them so far. There was the MMO, Star Wars Galaxies, released back in 2003. There was the cancelled Star Wars 1313 in 2013. There was a cancelled EA Star Wars game tied to Project Ragtag. It was called Project Orca. Before that was shut down in 2018 or 19. And then there's the new LEGO Star Wars releasing soon. So not really all too much in the category of open world Star Wars games. So there is a lot riding on this new Ubisoft game, likely releasing sometime after 2023. And today we have some new details on the game in its early stages of development and how Disney were convinced to let Ubisoft actually make this new open world title. Took a little bit of convincing to get them to do it. Here we go. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So this new open world game is being developed by Ubisoft studio Massive Entertainment, right? And last week they revealed the next game they're releasing, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, an open-world, first-person exploration story game set in the Avatar universe. Last week, I made a video talking about how this game will influence the new open-world Star Wars game, but I just learned these games are actually a lot more connected than we originally thought. It was this Avatar game, which isn't even being released until next year, that convinced Disney to let Ubisoft and Massive make the open-world Star Wars game. They saw this in its early stages and they were like, yep, done deal, we want to make a Star Wars game with you guys. Now, back in 2019, Disney secured one of their biggest deals ever, acquiring 21st Century Fox for $71.3 billion. Insane amount of money considering they only bought Star Wars for $4 billion. So Disney now own all of Fox's TV shows and films, which is why you can now watch The Simpsons, Futurama, Firefly, Family Guy, Deadpool, X-Men, and so many other Fox shows on Disney+, and Disney owns all of them. And with this deal back in 2019, they also acquired the rights to the Avatar series, which is why they're making Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, all to be released by 2028. When this deal was made, Ubisoft's Avatar game was already in development, so Disney wanted to meet with the developers and get a sense of the project. In a recent interview with IGN, the senior vice president of Walt Disney Games, Sean Shoptaw, revealed that he and his team met with Massive soon after the Fox acquisition, mainly to talk about the Avatar game, but it seems like they ended up spending more time talking about Star Wars. That first meeting we had with Massive around the Avatar game after we acquired Fox was really the jumping off point for the Star Wars game. There was such alignment and such creative passion around the Star Wars IP from that team that it just was a natural evolution to the relationship and really led to the Star Wars game we announced not so long ago. The idea behind making this Star Wars game was to fulfill a wish so many fans have had for years, the wish for an open world Star Wars game. Something players have been asking for since the dawn of open world games, and it's still something that's never been achieved in a full AAA format. Disney were aware of Massive's experience in developing open world games. The new Avatar game is open world, the Division games both open world, and the studio had also assisted on a few Far Cry and Assassin's Creed titles. So both Disney and Massive came to the meeting with the idea that an open world Star Wars game was the way to go. We certainly had aspirations about an open world Star Wars game. It didn't come exclusively from Massive, they certainly had a passion for it too, to the point that made it a lot easier for those conversations to advance. So Disney themselves originally did have an idea of building an open world Star Wars game. It's been something they wanted to do, and Massive have been wanting to do that as well, and now they're in a position where they can do so. We're aware of what fans have asked for and have waited for long periods of time. So if Disney are so interested in building an open world Star Wars game, why has it taken so long? Disney have owned Star Wars since 2012, so why are they only looking into open world now, nearly 10 years later? Well, Shop Tour has the answer. We've wanted to do it with the right partner at the right time. I think it's easy for us to want to jump quickly, especially when we know there's demand, but we need to be disciplined as well on when we do these things and who we do them with. Okay, this is really interesting because we saw what happened when Disney worked with EA on a few single-player titles. Project Ragtag, the action-adventure game developed by Visceral, was shut down only a couple years into development. And this evolved into Project Orca, an open-world Star Wars game which would take assets from Ragtag, only to be cancelled in 2019. So perhaps Disney felt EA Studios weren't the right fit for open-world game design. To be fair, it wasn't like they'd had much experience in developing open-world games. Only game I can think of in recent years is Anthem. So instead, they waited to meet with a different publisher and developer and find the right studio to build a solid open-world experience and deliver something so many fans have been asking for so many years. So as much as there's been an ambition internally as much as externally to have an experience like this made, we really wanted it to come at the right time with the right partner. The worst thing we could do is do it wrong and do it in a way that doesn't resonate with fans or doesn't meet that bar. And so we certainly feel like the wait will be worth it. We're super excited about where this game is going. I was just on a call actually this morning with the Massive team about it and could not be more excited about where they're taking this game and the opportunity we have with this experience. So it's really great to see they're taking this super seriously and they want to deliver that game players have been asking for so many years. But I mean, it's there loud and clear, isn't it? He basically says EA weren't the right partner to develop an open world game. And I don't think he's trying to take anything away from EA here. Battlefront 1 and 2 and Fallen Order and Squadrons are all unique, enjoyable, immersive experiences. So not trying to crap on EA at all. It's just they couldn't do the open world. And that's the problem with giving one publisher the exclusive rights to a franchise. You're putting all your eggs in one basket, even if they're one of the biggest publishers in the world with over a dozen studios at their disposal, even if they have some of the best studios in the world, the award-winning studios, they still might not be suited to designing every type of Star Wars games fans want to see. That's what happened with EA. There you go. That's the story. That's why we didn't get an open world adventure game. That's why we only really got Jedi Fallen Order in terms of the single player game, because EA's style of game design and the types of games their studios make weren't the right fit for certain aspects of Star Wars gaming and the Star Wars universe. So that's how this deal happened. That's why Disney selected Massive to develop the open world game, because of the Fox acquisition and because of the studio's experience in developing open world games. And you'd have to think, even if the games aren't directly linked, it seems pretty likely Massive will learn a lot while developing the Avatar game, and they'll be able to take this knowledge and apply it to the new open world Star Wars game. But I think it's really interesting to see them making this game to answer years of requests from fans, and because of what they're doing with Avatar. So now that you know all this, if EA were to make an open world Star Wars game, which studio do you think would have been best suited to that? And do you think Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment will succeed in creating this unique Star Wars experience we've been asking for so many years? Do you think it's going to meet that bar of what we expect? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. And for more on the latest in Star Wars gaming, you can watch one of these videos here and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more updates, news, content, and everything else you need in your life. Follow me there. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.